Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from evidence of conspiracies you've never heard of to clips of cryptids you never knew existed. Ready to have your mind blown? Well, let's dive in. Kids are innocent and pure, which is why many believe they're more sensitive to paranormal activity. Some say that spirits and entities are naturally drawn to them, while others believe that children can see things that adults can't. One woman recently experienced something that shook her to her core. She had been taking photographs of her son playing outside in their front yard one evening and noticed that they were too dark, so she decided to run them through some filters to brighten them up, and that's when she noticed this in one of the photographs. In the edited photograph, you can see a shadowy figure behind her son. It looks like a woman looking down at him. Some will say like her guardian angel, but what if she's an evil entity stalking him? Sounds crazy, I know, but the mother was understandably freaked out. Her son never mentioned seeing anything that night, and she's no idea who or what this figure could be. She uploaded it online seeking answers, and many had theories. Some said it was a demonic figure attached to her son, whereas others felt that they were dealing with artifacts from the low-light photography. Maybe the photographers here can explain that to us. My team, on the other hand, believe there's something paranormal going on with them. Despite their strong stance, I can't help but wonder if it could have been a spirit lingering in the yard, or just an illusion created by low-light conditions. Either way, once you see it, you can't unsee it. But I gotta ask, what do you think? This next footage has gotta be one of the creepiest things I've seen so far.
I am in my yard. Watch my face. This is not an app doing this.
So this woman picked up her phone and started recording a casual video of herself just moving around. But when you look closely at her face, something is seriously off.
Church, you can see straight through me. I kid you not.
Her face keeps morphing into different women's faces of different ages. At some point, her face even becomes transparent, like you can see right through her. Now, she insists this isn't a camera filter or some weird glitch. She also mentioned that her house is near a church, which just adds to the mystery. Nobody really knows what's going on here. Some people think it could be some kind of possession, while others say this might be a glitch in reality, with the faces being different versions of her from parallel universes. While Spider-Man Across the Multiverse was one of my favorite movies, I doubt what's going on here is something multiversal. I'm leaning more toward the paranormal, but what do you think?
Church is behind me. Watch my face. Church, you can see straight through me. I kid you not. Look at this.
Next, we got another clip taken by an individual while walking home one night. The clip is a bit dark and shaky, so bear with me. The person was walking along a narrow path when they suddenly heard strange noises coming from the side. The sound was coming from an old, fort-like structure with a single, lonely pillar standing in the middle of an empty field. As they panned their camera behind the pillar, they caught something chilling. There, crouched in the darkness, was a humanoid-looking figure crawling on all fours. Its limbs were impossibly skinny, its head was bald, and its skin was pale and bare. The creature seemed to be trying to hide, covering its face, but at the same time, it looked straight at the person recording. Then, in an instant, both the man and the creature seemed to freak out at the same time. Just as the creature looked like it was about to make a move, the man panicked, cut the footage, and ran off. So what was that thing? The internet is divided. Some say it looks like a skinwalker or rake, both of which are terrifying human-like entities known for lurking in the dark. Others think it could be an alien, which of these is correct. Hard to say. Either way, you wouldn't want to run into it at night. And before we move on to the next clip, Julius thinks it's CGI. I mean, we all knew he'd say that, but I thought I should mention it.
How you doing? You okay?
I don't know.
You a little freaked out?
A little bit.
A young woman named Rachel had gone to spend the night at a house, but was supposed to be a peaceful evening quickly turned into something unsettling.
Like, we've literally had to put the bag up against the door.
As she and her husband were getting ready for bed, something strange started to happen. The door to their bedroom suddenly began shaking violently on its hinges, as if something outside was grabbing and rattling it forcibly. At first they thought it might be the wind or something else, something logical. But when they checked, nothing was there. They even tried pushing furniture against the door, hoping it would stop the banging, but no matter what they did, the door kept shaking.
And like, we're literally just...
Unable to take it any longer, the couple decided to leave. As they packed their things and prepared to exit the house, Rachel's husband began filming everything. While he was speaking to the camera, the door suddenly slammed shut on its own and immediately started shaking again, as if something was trying to get through.
We're leaving. We got all of our stuff packed. Oh. Oh my gosh.
Now, here's the eerie part. Rachel had inherited the house from her grandmother, who'd passed away not too long ago. Some believe this could be a grandmother's spirit, perhaps trying to communicate. However, others argue that a loved one wouldn't haunt their family in such a terrifying manner. If this isn't her grandmother, then what exactly is lurking in that house? While many are intrigued by the whole thing, a number of individuals aren't sold on Rachel's facial expressions. They think it's bad acting. Personally, I have my opinions as well, but hey, each to his own.
We're not... Let me just show you.
This next image was shared by a man who had received it from his uncle. His uncle had set up a trail camera on an abandoned property that once belonged to their grandparents, who had long since passed away. The house had been left unused for years, so they decided to install a camera in the area to check an eye on it. Every now and then, they would check the footage to see if anything unusual had been captured. One particular day, the camera detected movement and snapped a sequence of 3 images. However, when reviewing the footage, they noticed something strange. The figure in question only appeared in one of the 3 pictures. This was very odd, considering the camera was motion activated and should have captured a continuous sequence. As for the figure itself, it appeared to be a person wearing what looked like a hospital gown, slightly crouched. The face was blurry and distorted, making it difficult to make out any specific features. The man who shared the image did not confirm whether this could have been one of his grandparents, but the eerie nature of the sighting left him unsettled. Since the figure only appeared in one of the 3 images, many believe this is not a normal person, but rather some kind of entity. But what entity? A ghost, a cryptid, or something else entirely? This is another trail camera capture, this time taken in Georgia. The image shows an upright-looking figure staring directly at the camera. The most unsettling part is that while it has dark fur, its posture is too straight to resemble that of an ape. Typically, primates have a slightly hunched or slouched form, but this creature stands more like a human. Many who have examined the image strongly believe that this could be a Bigfoot. The clarity of the capture and the eerie humanoid stance only add to the mystery. Well, clarity is a bit of an exaggeration, but you get me right. Some have considered this as proof of the big guy's existence, but is it really? Some in the community don't think so. To them, this is most likely a man in a costume. As usual, this has led to an all-out keyboard war between both sides. You've seen the capture, what do you think's going on here?
Oh, oh, hell to the no. Hell no. This oh, no, hell no. There's some crazy going on up in here. No. Okay, but guys, that right there just moved. Oh, fuck that. Oh. Hey!
The last place you'd expect a paranormal encounter is a barbershop, but that's exactly what happened here. A man sitting at the front desk was minding his business when something startled him. He jumped up from behind the desk, visibly shaken, and told everyone that something had just moved the blue apron on the chair. Somehow, no one else saw anything. At first, the other barbers and customers thought he was either messing with them or had simply imagined it. But then, things took an even stranger turn. The mannequin head on the cabinet by the door moved on its own. Even more unsettling, the door, previously left ajar, slowly closed by itself. One of the barbers walked over and closed it, assuming it was just the wind. But when they later reviewed the security footage, they saw something chilling. The blue apron had indeed shifted inward, as if an invisible figure had sat down. The man had not been mistaken, but what really convinced them was the movement of the mannequin's head subtly turned, something a gust of wind alone could never cause. This eerie moment has left many convinced that something paranormal was truly at play in the shop. What do you think? Coincidence or a genuine ghostly presence?
Oh, oh, hell to the no. Hell no. This oh, no, hell no. There's some crazy going on up in here. No. Okay, but guys, that right there just moved. Oh, fuck that. Oh. Hey! Can we put a security set back? Because that just moved. Like that just moved. Like that just moved. What are you talking about? I'm not going to break it. That right there just moved.
A woman received a chilling notification from her baby monitor while she was out with her family. She, her husband, and all of her children were together. No one was home, so she assumed it was an intruder. But when she opened the footage, what she saw sent shivers down her spine. There, in her baby's crib, was a hazy, ghostly figure of an infant. But here's the terrifying part. Her baby was with her at that very moment. There was no way her child could be in that crib. She immediately shared a comparison of images from her monitor. The images showed her real child, clear and detailed, just as the camera should capture. But this mysterious baby looked completely different. Its features were distorted, and it had an eerie, almost transparent glow. The internet went wild over the footage. Some people speculated that this was the spirit of a child that had once lived in the home. Others believe it could be a mimic or a doppelganger. It is an entity attempting to take the form of her baby, but failing to replicate it perfectly. What do you think?
What? What is that? Look at the eyes, the nose, and the face. And, like, it's clearly a face, right? Like, that looks like hair. But this is clearly a face. And it's not my baby.
Humans can be strange and unpredictable, and this next Ring camera footage proves it. So this creepy guy walks up to someone's house and just stands in the doorway. Weirdly, he's got a paper bag over his head with holes cut out so he can see. You can see him looking around, checking his surroundings. Then he bends down and places something on the ground in front of the door. But here's where it gets even weirder. As soon as he does this, the footage glitches for a second. After that, he stands back and walks away, but it's not over. A little while later, he comes back from the side of the house, stands right in front of the door and rings the doorbell and walks off again, completely calm the whole time. Now, nobody knows what he left behind on the ground. Some people think it could be black magic or some kind of ritual item, but nothing has been confirmed. The moral of the story: be careful who you open your door to, especially at night. You never know who or what is there. Also, what would you have done if this was your home? A man walked into a facility, and just as he was about to step onto the tiled floor, something bizarre happened. The tiles started from the far end of the hallway, began popping and breaking in a chain reaction, moving toward him. It was shocking and unsettling sight. Honestly, anyone who is even slightly superstitious would immediately think that this was some sort of paranormal activity. The way the tiles burst upward, one after the other, almost like an unseen force was tearing through the floor. However, this phenomenon does have a logical explanation. When tiles are installed incorrectly, especially without proper spacing or with trapped air beneath them, this kind of sudden buckling can happen due to built-up pressure. While it may look supernatural, it's actually a known occurrence in construction. This particular incident took place in China, and while it might not be the work of spirits, it certainly is scary. These two girls were out one night in Tampa, Florida, just wandering around, goofing off, and enjoying the cool night air. At some point, they decided to take a break and sit down, while someone else, who had a camera in hand, snapped a photograph of them. Everything seemed normal until they got home and took a closer look at the picture. That's when they noticed something chilling. There wasn't just the two of them in the photo. Looking carefully at the side of the image, deep in the darkness, there is a distinct shape that looks like a human figure in a robe, slightly brighter than the shadows around it. The way it blends in is unnerving, almost like it was always there watching. But here's the creepiest part. At the time, neither of the girls saw or sensed anything strange, but they did say that they'd been sitting near a cemetery. And suddenly, it all made a little too much sense. The only thing that could make sense is that they might have encountered a ghost. As intriguing as that is, not everyone is sold on the translucent being, especially members of my team. A chunk believe these girls are faking it for their 5 minutes of fame.
Now I know the translucent image isn't that convincing, but what if this is really how ghosts look on camera?
Still on shadowy figures, we got a woman who visited her aunt's old Victorian home with her husband, planning to spend the weekend there. They even brought their dog along for the trip. The house was filled with antique furniture and objects from the Victorian era, giving it a grand yet eerie atmosphere. Now, as many believe, old homes, especially ones filled with antique items, tend to hold onto energy and sometimes even spirits. With all the history embedded in such a place, it's no surprise that strange things can happen. One night, as she was in a room filming, she suddenly heard a loud thud coming from downstairs. Curious and slightly alarmed, she went to check it out but found nothing unusual. However, when she and her husband reviewed the security camera footage, they discovered something chilling. The source of the loud noise was a broom that had mysteriously fallen over. That could be easily explained, but what was truly unsettling was what they saw in the background. The camera, which was facing the window, captured the silhouette of a small boy. The figure stood there briefly before slowly fading downward as if sinking into the ground. The spot where the broom had fallen was right next to the fireplace. There was an old photograph of a little boy in it. And when they looked closely, the silhouette from the footage looked almost exactly like the boy in the picture. So was this just a strange coincidence, or had they just caught a glimpse of a ghost in the house? The internet is packed with bizarre, mind-bending stories, but this one, well, this one takes the cake. A group of friends was driving home late at night, goofing around, when suddenly panic took over. Why? Because out of nowhere from the pitch-black roadside, a completely naked man appeared and started chasing their car. And I mean buck naked, nothing but skin and determination. The guys in the car freaked out, screaming as they floored it, but no matter how fast they went, this mystery man kept up, which, well, let's be real, shouldn't even be possible for a regular human. But here's, sure, where things get truly unsettling. His eyes were glowing. Sure, maybe it was just light reflected off of them, but that doesn't explain his inhuman speed or why he was standing naked in the middle of the road in the first place. Some people think it was just a group of guys goofing off, maybe a crazy dare gone too far. Others say the man could have been on drugs or alcohol, which might explain the reckless behavior. But then there are ones who believe this was something much darker, like a skinwalker, a possessed man, or even something not human at all. Since there is no solid explanation, all we can do is speculate. Do you drink tap water straight from the faucet? You might want to think twice after watching this. A man in Colombia had 3 betta fish, each kept in separate bowls. One day he changed their water using tap water, as he usually did, but when he went to check on them 2 days later, what he saw shocked them. Tiny, see-through creatures had multiplied in one of the bowls. Not only that, but the betta fish in that bowl had completely disappeared, along with a small snail he'd also kept inside. The only thing left behind was its white shell, which according to him used to be black. These tiny creatures, where did they come from? They resembled shrimp or some kind of aquatic insect, and he firmly believed they'd eaten his fish. After sharing the footage, experts identified these creatures as scuds, tiny crustaceans that sometimes appear in untreated or contaminated water sources. But this tap water is what is being connected to people's homes for cooking and drinking? Well, you better check your water, guys. A witness from Belle Isle, Michigan shared a strange video online after spotting an odd-looking animal walking by the road. At first, it kind of looks like a large rodent, but there's something off about it. Its fur is matted, with patches missing, giving it a scruffy, almost unnatural appearance. But despite its odd looks, the creature just minds its business, casually strolling in broad daylight and searching for food. When the footage hit the internet, everyone had an opinion. Some say it's just an old possum or raccoon with mange disease, which makes sense. Mange can make animals look pretty unrecognizable, and honestly, if you've ever seen a sick coyote or fox, you know how eerie they can look. But then there are the ones who think that this could be something else, maybe even a new unidentified species lurking in the woods. Either way, what do you think? Just a sick animal or something we haven't identified yet? SpaceX and other aerospace companies are well known for launching rockets and satellites into the sky on a frequent basis. Because of this, many UFO sightings have been later explained as these launch devices rather than extraterrestrial activity. Recently, people from various parts of the world, including Denmark, Essex, and other locations, have reported seeing a peculiar spiral-shaped object in the sky. Many took to the internet to share images and videos of this mysterious formation. The paranormal community was quick to claim that this was evidence of alien activity. However, experts and skeptics have pointed out a more grounded explanation. According to reports, these spirals are actually created by the fuel exhaust from SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket boosters after launch. As the rockets ascend and their boosters are jettisoned, the leftover fuel and vapor can form a spiraling effect in the sky, especially in high-altitude conditions where the gases expand and reflect sunlight. While the sight certainly looks otherworldly, it appears to have a scientific explanation, but as always, not everyone is convinced. Maybe I'm one of them, but maybe I'm not. Do you think that it's just a natural result of modern space travel or something more mysterious? Recently in China, a J-15 carrier fighter jet crash-landed during a training exercise. The crash was completely unexpected, and several people nearby managed to film the entire incident, from the moment the jet hit the ground to when it burst into flames. Luckily, the pilot ejected just in time and was rescued safely with minimal injuries, but the whole situation has raised a lot of questions. After the crash, there have been efforts to remove footage of it from the internet, but clips are still circulating, making many people uneasy. Some are concerned about how vulnerable these aircraft might be. With the rise of cyber attacks and recent incidents of military hacking, people are wondering if this was an accident or if it could have been caused by a cyber attack. There are also some who think that governments are staging these incidents to keep people grounded from flying. It sounds funny, I know, but think about it. We've been through COVID already. If it serves their interests, this shouldn't be hard. Next up, we have a video shared by a couple who had never experienced anything paranormal before until this night. What they caught on camera completely freaked them out. The footage comes from their living room security camera. It was late at night, and they were home alone when it happened. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared behind a closed door, then out of nowhere, a pale face peeked out from behind the wall. But just as quickly as it appeared, it pulled back, and right at that moment, the shadow of a figure briefly flickered in the same spot. A few seconds later, the face disappeared again, only to vanish completely. Even their dog, who was sitting in the living room, perked up and stared at the door right when it happened, like he sensed something too. The couple was so shaken up that they had no idea what to think.
So, was it a real ghost or a creepy camera glitch? You tell me.
Does anybody know if Brandon or Corey are out there?
Did you see that?
Yeah. Bro. Come on, Max. You see that? They found it. Look at that. Look at that.
What are the odds that during a live TV broadcast, something this bizarre would be captured? Strange slits of light appeared in the sky, resembling large orbs moving behind the clouds in a perfectly straight line. This was filmed in Mississippi just before a massive storm was about to hit. At first, it looked like a large glowing mass behind the clouds, but then these individual orbs seemed to emerge, moving away from each other in an eerie, deliberate manner. The paranormal community went wild over the footage, claiming it was undeniable evidence of extraterrestrial activity. Some suggested that this could be a cloaked UFO becoming briefly visible due to atmospheric conditions. However, skeptics were quick to offer a more grounded explanation. Many believe this was simply a natural weather phenomenon, most likely ball lightning. It's a rare but documented event where glowing orbs of electrical energy form during storms. But the way these lights moved so precisely has left room for debate. Could this really be just a freak weather occurrence, or is it something else happening in our skies?
Does anybody know if Brandon or Corey are out there?
Did you see that?
Yeah. Bro. Come on, Max. You see that? They found it. Look at that. Look at that.
Here we have another supposed ghost encounter, but this time it's not just a ghost with a child. A couple was out one night with their toddler son. He was having a great time, so they decided to snap a picture of him. But when they looked at the photograph later, they noticed something terrifying. Standing right behind their son was a ghostly figure. It looked like it had its hands on the child's shoulders, and it was distorted, and the mouth was round and eerie, almost as if it was screaming. The parents were deeply disturbed by what they saw. However, some people in the comments had a different take. They pointed out that the ghostly figure appeared to be holding a long pole, just like the little boy. And when they looked closer, it seemed like the image was distorted by motion blur, meaning it could have just been the boy himself captured mid-jump, making it look like a ghost was behind him. So, was it a real ghost or just a creepy camera glitch? What do you think?
And so we think we see down here, obviously, because this is where the hell the dance is. And what was that noise?
Did you see it?
Did you hear?
Help!
What?
Did you see it?
This next footage is said to have been taken by students who snuck back into the school after hours. The place was empty and eerily quiet. The person behind the camera was filming around, probably just exploring, when suddenly they heard something. Now this is where it gets creepy. He quickly turns the camera toward the sound where it came from, and then you hear his friends freak out, saying they saw something. And that's when the camera captures it. It looks like a human-shaped figure, but it's a see-through entity moving at the other end of the hallway. Let's take a closer look. See that? It's definitely humanoid, but it's barely there, almost transparent. As soon as they all saw it, they panicked, and the camera gets shaky as you hear screams from behind the lens. But seriously, what the hell was that thing?
So we think we see down here, obviously, because this is where the hell the dance is. And what was that noise?
Did you see it?
Did you hear?
Help!
What?
Did you see it?
What do we have here? It's an eerie-looking creature, and as the camera moves closer, we get a better look at its face. It honestly looks like an alien with ashy skin, its mouth slightly open and eyes shut. There's no clear information on where or when this footage was taken. Some people think it could be a part of a set of an old prop. Others say it might have been filmed in a museum, but honestly, we're not sure. With the endless stream of alien footage out there, it's becoming harder and harder to separate fact from fiction. So what do you think? Real or staged? All around the world, there are mysterious rock formations that seem to defy logic. One of the most puzzling is the appearance of massive boulders precariously balanced on small, seemingly inadequate points of contact, almost as if gravity itself has been altered. Back in ancient times, some civilizations were believed to have access to an advanced understanding of energy and physics, often referred to as the ether. This force, according to various historical accounts, supposedly allowed people to levitate massive stones and construct architectural marvels without modern machinery. Legends speak of entire buildings and cities being erected using this lost knowledge. An example is the story of Solomon's Hanging Gardens, which some believe were suspended using an unknown ancient technology. However, modern science remains skeptical. Geologists argue that these balancing rocks are simply the results of natural erosion, tectonic activity, and weathering over thousands of years. They claim that while they may look impossible, they're actually completely explainable through natural processes. But could some of these formations truly be remnants of an ancient forgotten technology, or are they just incredible works of nature that happen to baffle our sense of physics? Now we have another eerie set of images that was shared by someone who had gone out for an evening walk when they noticed something strange. In front of them, there was complete darkness, but within that darkness on the ground, there appeared to be a humanoid figure crawling toward them. Let's zoom in on the image and take a closer look. There, it looks like an emaciated human-like creature with pale skin. That can't be a normal person. It closely resembles a skinwalker or some kind of paranormal entity. Whatever it was, the person who took the image did not stick around to find out. Unless, of course, the person created this digitally and we're being scammed. Some members of my team don't think that's the case, though.
But there's one person who... Oh, he's gone. You know what? Let's move on.
In the paranormal community, there are a lot of conspiracy theories about AI, and most of them aren't very positive. Some people believe AI is an evil force trying to take over the world. Others think it's alien technology, and some even say it's a supernatural entity in disguise. No matter the theory, they all seem to point to the same conclusion: AI taking over the world, and honestly, you can't really blame people for thinking that. Take a look at this. A man asked AI what it would do if it were the devil trying to keep people away from God, and the response was chilling.
Well, if I were the devil, I'd start by corrupting mainstream religion, turning it into a tool for control, hypocrisy, and division. I'd twist sacred teachings into rules that breed judgment and fear, driving people away from faith and making them question the authenticity of God's message. I'd divide believers against one another, creating conflict within their own community so they'd focus on fighting each other rather than seeking unity or truth.
AI specifically mentioned keeping people hooked on material things, keeping humans distracted, and causing division and enmity among people. That sounds exactly like something a pastor would preach about when describing the devil's work. And let's be real, with everything happening in the world today right now, doesn't it feel like this is already happening?
I'd then create distractions that seem harmless, but consume their attention, pulling them away from spiritual growth. I'd promote materialism, convincing them that happiness comes from possessions. I'd encourage a culture of busyness, leaving little time for reflection or connection with the divine. And finally, I'd ensure that doubt and fear overshadow faith and love so they become too disillusioned to ever seek a higher power.
Wow.
It's always important to fact-check before believing everything we see on the internet, especially when it comes to conspiracy theories. KFC recently released a new commercial, and it has caused quite a stir online, particularly among conspiracy groups. In the ad, the man is dunked into a river, and when he emerges, he has turned into a piece of fried chicken. While this could simply be an attempt at dark humor or to create marketing, some people are taking it very seriously. Some believe the imagery resembles a satanic ritual, while others claim it's a subliminal message hinting at something darker, like KFC using meat for their chicken. This has led to resurfaced claims that KFC allegedly uses HEK293 in their food. For those unfamiliar, HEK293 is a human embryonic kidney cell line that's sometimes used in scientific research and in the development of artificial flavors. However, when investigated, there's no evidence that KFC uses HEK293 in their products. In reality, HEK293 is mainly used in pharmaceutical research to produce therapeutic proteins and is not an ingredient in food. Still, this commercial has many questioning its true intent. Was it just a bizarre marketing choice, or was there a hidden message? If there's a hidden message, what is it saying? Someone captured this unusual object in the sky. It was this black-looking object that seemed to be floating along, constantly shifting its shape. When the original uploader posted the footage, they claimed that they'd captured a shape-shifting UFO. However, some skeptics argue that based on how the object moves and drifts, it could actually be a plastic bag or a thin tarp caught in the wind. So what do you think? Shape-shifting UFO or just debris in the sky?
mga kasama namin. Pero yung mga kasama namin, kailangan namin silang habulin kasi maliligaw kami. Gagi, malayo na sila.
These two girls are running through the woods, clearly fleeing from something. The first girl who's holding the camera is showing her face and her friend behind her. They seem to be talking to each other, but then, way back behind the second girl, you see a third figure. It's frail, human-shaped, and eerily distant. Now we know why they're running. The thing was chasing them through the woods. To make things even worse, the sun was setting and the area was getting darker by the second. Luckily, at some point when they finally stopped running, it seemed like they had outrun whatever was following them. But here's the real question. What was that figure? Could it have been a person, a ghost, or something else entirely?
Naliligaw kami, guys. Naliligaw. Wala ni mga kasama namin. Pero yung mga kasama namin, kailangan namin silang habulin kasi maliligaw kami. Gagi, malayo na sila.
They say that 3 a.m. is the witching hour, the time when supernatural entities come out to roam before humans wake up. Many believe that strange occurrences are more likely to happen at this hour, and this next footage might just support that theory. A grocery store attendant was working the night shift completely alone when he suddenly started noticing strange movements in the store. At the time, no customers had entered, and it was around 3 a.m. Feeling uneasy, he decided to turn on his camera and point it down one of the aisles. That's when he caught something truly bizarre. A small, childlike figure briefly appeared from behind a pillar, peeked into view, and then vanished behind the shelves. The figure looked just like a little boy, but there wasn't supposed to be anyone else there. Was this a ghost, a lost spirit wandering the store? We all know that in our solar system, there is only one sun, and while different planets have multiple moons, Earth is known to have just one. But what exactly is going on in this footage? During a breathtaking sunset, two suns appeared on the horizon, on one side and another across on the other end. It was an incredible sight, but with how bright and defined they both appeared, this couldn't be moons. Before we jump to wild theories, let's consider a few natural explanations. One possible phenomenon could be caused by the illusion that's known as a light bow. This occurs when light from the moon or sun refracts through atmospheric conditions, creating a duplicate image in the sky. Another possibility is a mirage or reflection, where certain weather conditions can cause celestial bodies to appear doubled. In this case, the sun. I know we aren't exactly a science channel, but
Julius is going to want to hear your scientific thoughts on this one, and the word is scientific. Okay, come on, let's just humor the guy, okay?
a family noticed that their dog was barking furiously at a particular spot in their yard, right near the area where their sewage pipes were buried. At first, they assumed it was just an animal scent or something harmless, but the dog's agitated behavior made them curious enough to investigate. When they went to check, they discovered an opening in the ground, possibly from a cracked or shifted pipe. But what they saw next sent chills down their spines. Through the dark gap, they noticed the scaly skin of a snake slowly shifting as it slithered through the underground space. The sheer size of this thing is terrifying. The body was so thick and massive that you could only see its skin moving, not the full length of the creature. How big was this snake, and how long it had been lurking beneath their home? In Ukraine, there's a very interesting drone that's been developed, and it's said to have a range of about 41 kilometers from its pilot. What makes this drone so unique is that it's made with fiber optic cables, which help keep the drone operator hidden from detection. This makes it incredibly smart and efficient, especially in combat situations. The Ukrainian military has reportedly been using these drones in their battles with Russian soldiers, and they found them to be highly effective and reliable. With the increasing role of drones in modern warfare, this could be a game changer. A hiker had climbed up a mountain when he came across this metal door embedded into the rock. At first, it looked like just a random structure, but as he got closer, he noticed that there was no visible handle to open it. The only feature on the door was a hole, but there was nothing else to indicate how to open it. Curious, he held his camera up to the hole, hoping to see what was inside, but all he captured was pure darkness, an eerie, impenetrable void. Now, what could be behind that door? And why was it there hidden in the middle of a mountain? Is it an entrance to something secret, a government facility, or maybe something much stranger? A man from Saudi Arabia was out one night exploring an abandoned house when he found pictures on the wall of a little girl. As he continued to search around the house, he began to hear noises that suggested he was not alone. He called out, hoping to get the attention of whoever might be there, but saw no one. Despite the unsettling sounds, he pressed on, still calling out as he moved toward the source of the noise. The trail led him to some stairs to the rooftop where clothes were hanging on a clothesline. As he walked by, he noticed something strange. Between the hanging clothes, he saw the pale face of a girl with pitch-black eyes. Terrified, he backed away. But when he looked again, there was no one there. Oddly enough, the face he saw resembled the girl in the picture on the wall downstairs. It seemed that he might have encountered the ghost of the girl, but how was she there? Did she perhaps die in the house, or was it an entity that had taken a form? Imagine seeing this while out on the highway with your friends. The driver of the car does not appear to be human, with that large blue head and faint blue glow around its body. The creature didn't seem to notice them as it just continued to drive off as if it was a normal day on Earth, except it was not. They could have just run into an alien. Aliens are a hot topic these days. Despite the buzz, we don't know for sure if they are already among us or if we've ever made contact. Imagine Aaron's and my surprise when we came across this footage. What do you think's going on here? A real alien casually driving around, or a cosplayer going home from one of those cons they usually organize? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Hold on to your fishing rods, folks, because the next catch is quite the head-scratcher. An angler is out on a fishing expedition, and what do they reel in? A fish. A peculiar-looking fish, to be specific. This thing's got teeth that would make your dentist jealous, and get this, lips. Yeah, you heard it right. Lips on a fish. As speculation runs rampant, the curtain is lifted, revealing this mysterious creature to be none other than the remarkable triggerfish. The triggerfish, part of the Ballastidae family, is well known for its distinctive appearance and behavior. Its unique set of teeth, strikingly similar to humans, immediately captures attention. Unlike the typical image of a fish, the triggerfish distinguishes itself with well-defined lips, a feature uncommonly seen in aquatic species. Despite its unusual dental arrangement and lips, the triggerfish is a fascinating and diverse species found in tropical and subtropical waters around the world. What would be your reaction when you're on a highway and are suddenly asked to park alongside other drivers? You all comply and a convoy goes by. Among them was a truck carrying something mysterious, a covered, unmistakably round object that bears an uncanny resemblance to a saucer. What else could it be to a convoy of cars that looked like police cars escorting it? Despite the obvious, some conspiracies have risen on what this could be. It could be a classified military or experimental aircraft or a piece of advanced technology. While I want to believe that, part of me knows the government isn't that stupid, so this has to be an elaborate prank. At least that's what I think. What about you? Amusement parks are always fun and exciting, but if you have ever watched the movie Final Destination, you might think twice before climbing on any of those rides. The idea of thrill rides can be overshadowed by the fear of something going horribly wrong. Take a look at what happened recently at an amusement park in Portland, Oregon. 28 people were stuck upside down on a ride. As they hung there, their phones and wallets fell to the ground, and some people even started throwing up due to the prolonged inversion. They were stuck in that precarious position for 30 minutes before authorities were able to safely get them down. Thankfully, there were no casualties, but the experience was undoubtedly harrowing for everyone involved. Imagine the panic and helplessness of being suspended in the air, unable to do anything but wait for rescue. Okay, I'd rather stop imagining at this point. Ever had such an experience? Share it with us in the comments section.
Bro, it's really broken.
This was recorded by a man who felt that insects he had been seeing around his home for the past few weeks were not normal. Not only did they behave abnormally, they didn't respond to the insecticides he typically uses. This got him curious, and he decided to pay closer attention to them. He ended up squashing one, and that's when reality hit him. The bugs barely had any organic matter in them. Nobody was willing to believe him, so this time he decided to lightly touch the bug and record it. What you see on your screen is the result of that adventure. As he gently taps the back of the bug, there's a click and 2 green lights light up behind the supposed insect. That's not normal, even I know that. And for the first time, Julius, our science whiz, and Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, agree. The big question now is this real? This has been the source of debate for my team members as well as the online paranormal community. Some argued it might be a lightning bug. Others thought it had to be a click beetle. While those sound like great explanations, they don't explain the green lights. What do you think we're dealing with here? Have you ever heard of the expression, the more the merrier?
Oh my God. I cannot believe I'm getting this on video.
Well, in this video that has been circulating online, someone captured an unusual sight in the sky. 3 celestial bodies can be seen, and it's difficult to determine exactly what they are. The footage was taken at sunset, which makes it seem as if the 3 objects are 3 moons hanging in the sky. However, this seems unlikely given what we know about Earth's natural satellites. Our planet is known to have only 1 moon, so the presence of 2 additional moons is highly unusual. It's not every day that we get to witness something that seems to defy the laws of nature, so it's no wonder that this footage has captured people's attention. But how is this even possible? Normally, photographers will tell you it's the reflection of the lens, and surely enough, we weren't the only ones looking for that comment. I'm no expert at photography, but I don't think this is one of those instances where we're dealing with the reflection of the camera lens. We can't, however, say the same for this next one.
I ain't about to release this shit though. I'm not trying to have somebody follow me. Bro, what in the hell?
Now, I have seen a lot of scary things in my day, but this next one, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I know body modification is a thing for many today, but this young man here appears to have taken a very extreme route as far as that is concerned. There are a few individuals that modify their faces like the way he has. Talk about their eyes, brows, tongues, nose, teeth, and basically their whole faces. This man seems to have done it all. While it might have been done to live out a fantasy, there is still a lot of health concerns from just looking at it. For the first time, I saw a comments section where people were not ridiculing but having genuine concern for the individual. Most of the modifications he's made are permanent, so there's no going back. But almost everyone who saw this stated that they hoped and prayed that he wouldn't face extreme health complications for his decision. Usually when you think of fishing, you imagine throwing your net into the water or using a line and bait to catch a fish. But this footage shows something entirely different. Here, fish are flying out of the water, almost as if they're asking you to come catch them. It's a bizarre and fascinating sight, with fish leaping high into the air seemingly without any provocation. This phenomenon could be due to several reasons. One common cause is the presence of predators beneath the water, forcing the fish to jump out in a bid to escape. Another possibility is environmental factors such as sudden changes in water temperature or oxygen levels, which might cause the fish to react in such a dramatic manner. What do you think could be causing the fish to behave this way? Stepping away from the robo-insect scenes, I've got a clip that may leave some scratching their heads. Enjoy.
Bro, I swear to God, this turkey has been, looking 10 minutes ago. Doing this all day, what is going on?
Yes, you were seeing right. That's a turkey circling a graveyard. The lady recording had been at the graveyard for 10 minutes and even came to meet the turkey there doing exactly this. That means it could have been there for hours before she arrived. But what is this turkey doing? Why that particular grave? The truth is, no one can state for sure what the issue is. That doesn't stop people from speculating, though. There are some who believe that animals can sense things that humans cannot, like spirits, entities, and even energies. They suspect that this turkey is reacting to something that we can't see. There are some who also support that it might just be random behavior, possibly influenced by the environment or even by something as simple as the shape or smell of the gravestone. Julius, however, thinks that the turkey could have seen its reflection and thought it was another turkey and gone into its territorial fight mode. Thinking about it, Julius might be right. That gravestone does have the ability to reflect its image, and turkeys have been known to act funny around cars when they see their reflection. But then again, we can't confirm this. Which of these explanations do you think really reflects what may be going on?
Looking 10 minutes ago. Doing this all day, what is going on?
Nature does have its quirky side, and those clouds in the sky are no exception. Take a gander at this peculiar patch of clouds, and it's no wonder people's imaginations start running wild with thoughts of aliens and paranormal activities. But fear not, my friends, because these are none other than lenticular clouds. Now, before you start picturing flying saucers and cloaked crafts, let me reassure you that lenticular clouds are considered a normal phenomenon. They may appear somewhat out of the ordinary, especially when they hang solo in the sky, but rest assured, it's just nature doing its thing. Once again, Julius was the one who told me this. If you're like Aaron and believe the sky gods or aliens are responsible, please feel free to believe that. Who knows, perhaps this lenticular cloud thingy is just a false rumor being spread by aliens.
Pretty sure I just saw it out there.
In this next footage, a man is woken up in the middle of the night by some strange noise coming from outside. As he comes out, he's faced with this creature in the woods.
Oh, whoa. Standing right there. Let me try and zoom in. Holy crap.
an alien-like creature with its head popping out from behind some bushes. The creature has a huge head and a long, skinny neck. As the creature noticed the man had spotted it, it slowly backed into the forest and vanished into the darkness.
Holy crap, I haven't seen that fucking close before.
In the footage, the man whispers that he's never seen one close up before, meaning these creatures are nothing new. He's been seeing some of these creatures around his property. The location is unknown, so there's not much investigation we can do about this sighting. What do you think of this encounter? Here is another tragic incident that took place at an amusement park in 2011.
Oh God, it's gonna crash! It's gonna crash! It's gonna crash! Oh my God!
A child on the Ferris wheel captured this footage. They were high up in the sky when a plane came crashing into the Ferris wheel at a rural festival in eastern Australia. The scene was chaotic and terrifying as the plane struck the Ferris wheel, leaving the children suspended high above the ground and the adults trapped inside the mangled aircraft. The collision trapped 2 children on the ride and 2 adults in the aircraft for hours. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, working tirelessly to free those trapped. The delicate operation required great care to ensure the safety of everyone involved. The children and adults were eventually rescued after several tense hours. Miraculously, there were no fatalities, but the incident left a lasting impact on everyone who witnessed it. I'm sure those 2 kids were so traumatized I don't think they'll ever go on a ride like that again. Unless, of course, they are Julius, who likes to test probabilities. Still on creatures with mechanical properties, take a look at this gecko with a sparkling tail. Normally, geckos are known for their incredible climbing abilities and sticky toe pads, not for generating sparks. The fact that the gecko appears unbothered by the sparking makes it even more intriguing. So how do you explain this? Well, there's no straightforward explanation, but we can try. One possible explanation could be a static electricity buildup. Geckos can sometimes come into contact with surfaces that generate static electricity, especially in dry environments. This doesn't, however, result in physical sparks like we're seeing from the clip. Another theory might be some sort of small electrical current from a nearby source. Perhaps the gecko brushed against a live wire or an electrical outlet, causing the sparking effect. But again, this would typically cause harm to the gecko, which doesn't seem to be the case here. Could it be a naturally occurring phenomenon that scientists have yet to discover, or maybe this particular gecko has developed a unique adaptation that allows it to interact with electricity in a way we've never seen before? Before you come for me in the comments section, think about it. Maybe we've got a Pikachu situation on our hands. Either that, or this is some sort of animal cyborg, or the clip is simply fake. What do you think, though? During a cave exploration in Mexico, things took an unsettling turn. This one is a tad disturbing. Yup, those are hundreds of human skeletons scattered around, and there's even a wall made of skulls. This alone is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine, but the story doesn't end there. Going further, our explorers reached a chamber lit by candles casting an otherworldly glow, and in there stood a peculiar altar. This room also had skeletons all over. Unless the ancients found a way to keep candles eternally lit, someone had to have been using the cave. But for what purpose? Could we be looking at the hideout of a secret cult, or perhaps something even more unsettling? Watching this alone gives me the heebie-jeebies, but what do you guys think? This eerie footage that features a mysterious scene with a humanoid that appears to be in a crouched position. As it slowly lifts its head, a pair of luminescent orbs stare back at us. The unsettling nature of this sighting takes a surreal turn as the creature undergoes a bizarre transformation, morphing into a smoky ethereal entity that glides effortlessly towards a nearby structure. To our amazement, the entity seamlessly reverts to its humanoid form upon reaching the destination. What could we be dealing with here? A skinwalker, a shapeshifter, or something entirely different? If you have been on the channel long enough, you know my assistant Aaron voted that it was a skinwalker, but you guys saw the video too. What do you think of it? Two military guys were in a tree in the woods, likely engaged in some type of training, when out of nowhere, two bears came running into the area. One of the bears started to climb the tree where the men were perched. Luckily, the bear was not aggressive. It noticed the first man, looked around for a while, and perhaps was confused about why the man kept laughing. Maybe it's self-conscious, and the man's laughter affected its self-esteem, but boy, are we glad he was uninterested in the man. This encounter could have turned dangerous, but fortunately the bear's calm behavior allowed the men to avoid a potentially hazardous situation. If you must go out there to the woods, make sure you're informed and know what you may encounter there. On April the 10th, 2024, Jay Bavin, a well-known pop star, shared a fascinating video on his Instagram account. The footage showed a triangular UFO moving about in the sky above New York. The craft's shape and movement were indeed unusual, and the video quickly garnered attention from people all over the world. While it's not uncommon for people to share supposed UFO sightings online, many of these reports are often dismissed as hoaxes or computer-generated images. However, given Jay Bavin's celebrity status and the fact that he has a large fan following, it's reasonable to assume that he wouldn't post something that wasn't genuine. In fact, when I first saw it, I thought it was a hoax because I hadn't checked his account yet. I hopped over to his account, and surely enough, it was there. His footage is clear and shows the craft in detail, making it difficult to dismiss as a simple optical illusion or a fake. The fact that a pop star of Jay Bavin's caliber has shared this video should make people take this sighting seriously and consider the possibility that we are not alone in the universe. Don't you agree? Next, we have this clip that a man in South Florida shared online that he took sometime in February 2024.
Sorry. Here in South Florida, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Go out and capture it. I'm always looking up at the sky.
In the clip, we can see an object that appears to be moving in a vertical motion, with a pinkish glowing hue hidden by the clouds. He initially thought it was the moon, but that was the wrong position for the moon at that time of the night. Unsure of what he'd captured, the man shared the clip online. The first thing he discovered when he shared the post online was he was not the only one who had seen it. The individuals who took the image insisted that it was not the moon, which also tied into the man's narrative. Once the moon was rolled out, those who saw the post thought it might be a rocket launch or something similar to that, but that was also written off. Despite the skepticism surrounding it being a rocket, I did some digging around and realized that there were some rocket launches in February. This includes the SpaceX Falcon 9 NASA PACE mission and the SpaceX Falcon 9 United States Space Force Mission 124. There's a possibility that these launches were what the individuals saw, but some thought it was Project Bluebeam. If you aren't familiar with this, it's a conspiracy theory that suggests that the government is using advanced technology to create holographic images in the sky as a means of controlling the population. Without further evidence, like the exact date, time, and location from which the clip was recorded, we can say this is a rocket launch. That doesn't mean it's impossible, though. Speaking of the Blue Beam Project, we don't have a lot of evidence to support it, but the absence of evidence doesn't mean the lack of it. Some have also suggested that the glowing object could be a meteor, a satellite, or even a UFO. You have seen the clip yourself, so what do you think it could be? Now, look at this.
Cause what the fuck is this? Bitch just over here munching away.
A woman was enjoying her fries and chicken when she noticed a weird-looking piece of chicken. This piece was shaped like a four-legged creature with a tail and head. You don't need to be a psychic to know we're all thinking this looks like a mouse. There have been numerous instances where people have found rats and other creatures fried up with their meals, and that's a very disturbing thought. However, in this case, it could also just be a piece of chicken that's oddly shaped. But let's have some fun with this. What do you guys think we're dealing with? Wrong answers only. This next footage really put the horror in Airbnb. A man had booked an Airbnb in Dayton, Ohio. As he was exploring the house, he discovered a basement and decided to check it out, only to come across something unsettling.
Yo, I just came from my Airbnb. Went to the basement and look at this shit. Y'all, don't do Airbnb. Oh my motherfucking God.
The room was dark, with strange patterns on the walls. There was an eerie-looking bed made from an old mattress and a side table that appeared to be a rock on some rusted metal. Lit candles were placed on the table, and leaves were hanging from the ceiling over the candles, eerily swinging. Another table, also made of rocks and wood, had leaves hanging above it and a book on top. The entire setup looked like some sort of shrine. Why would someone rent out an Airbnb with such a haunting room in it? This discovery has me freaked out. I feel like I'd need to thoroughly check every part of a house before renting it because this is just not right. What would you do if you encountered something like this in an Airbnb? Also, Aaron believes this is very real. Do you? The pace of technological advancement is astounding, and there are always new and exciting gadgets being developed.
Yeah! Yes! All right. Ooh-wee. Wow, so...
At SXSW, Disney showcased a revolutionary robot that could move with an unprecedented level of agility and express emotions. The robot's motion capture technology allowed it to execute complex actions with astonishing precision. Watching the robot perform graceful somersaults and effortlessly get back on its feet was truly mesmerizing. What was particularly striking was the way the hosts interacted with the robot. They treated it as if it were a human child, carrying it and hoisting it on their shoulders with ease. The movements of the robot were so lifelike that it was easy to forget that it was a machine. However, it's worth noting that Disney has faced criticism in the past for some of its activities. As a result, the fact that they're developing robots that resemble human children is somewhat disconcerting. Does the company have ulterior motives? Some do think so, but some are also simply worried about what such technological innovations could mean for humanity. What about you, though? What are your thoughts on this? Share them in the comments section.
Ooh-wee. Wow, so...
If you thought that was an isolated incident, it's clearly because you haven't seen this clip.
This plane traveling into San Francisco is seemingly defying the laws of physics. It appears to just be sitting still in the air. It's gone viral. It was taken by a man from the window of a nearby plane. The video is actually an optical illusion. It's called the parallax effect. It's a type of visual illusion in which the position of a moving object appears to freeze due to the position of the observer.
This was captured by a passenger on a plane while flying over the waters of San Francisco. And yes, it's another plane stuck in the sky. The news tried to tell everyone that it was normal and something that occurred often. They tried to explain it as an optical illusion, which would have sounded logical, but the audience and masses rejected the explanation. A number of individuals stated that they could see the cars below moving, which didn't make sense. Many individuals also stated that they'd experienced it themselves and that the explanation being given by the news was not logical. Naturally, this got me very curious, and I went down the rabbit hole in search of the truth. My search led me to our next clip.
These holes on this brain MRI aren't holes, they're parasites. Can you guess what it's from? This is neurocysticercosis, and it's caused from eating undercooked meats. This person ate parasitic eggs hidden in pork that then hatched all over the body, including the brain.
Now let's talk about worms, not the ones on the ground, but the ones that can infest humans. Worm infestations are more common than we realize, and some types of worms can even make their way into our brains. These parasites can be mistaken for tumors and have serious health consequences, including organ failure, blindness, and, in severe cases, death. One of the most common sources of worms is food, particularly sushi, because the fish is often uncooked. Another notorious carrier is pork. According to the World Health Organization, over 1 billion people worldwide suffer from parasitic infections. This underscores the critical importance of regular deworming. Dr. Josh Hellman, a medical doctor from Harvard, suggests that certain foods can help in deworming. These include carrots, beetroot, and pomegranates. These foods contain compounds that can help to expel parasites from the body. So everyone, it's important to deworm regularly. If you haven't done it in a while, consider this your reminder. You definitely don't want those parasites crawling up into your brain. AI has been good so far, but there are still people who are very skeptical about it, and this is why.
在给俄罗斯男看诗，只有你们中国的兄弟姐妹没抛弃我们。俄罗斯的农村真是个奇妙的地方。注释是土豆。
This is not Olga. Her name is April, and she's been living in China for 8 years. She has my voice, my face, and she speaks fluent Mandarin. And here's Natasha. She's the 31-year-old Russian woman who decided to come to China to sell and advertise Russian food.
A Ukraine YouTuber by the name of Olga Loik came across a chilling discovery. Numerous social media accounts were using an AI-generated influencer with her face and voice. Most of these platforms were Chinese accounts and some were Russian. These accounts were used for various purposes. Some were spreading propaganda, while others were making more money than Olga ever made from social media.
I then translated the videos with Google Translate and figured out the most terrifying part. The narratives my clones were voicing sounded like blatant propaganda.
Russian people will always remember. I really appreciate China. While everyone else is moving away from Russia, only China is behind the quiet support. When other countries reject Russian stuff, it's your support to help Russia meet its immediate needs. China and Russia are good neighbors. China-Russia friendship lasts forever. And then she proceeds to advertise her Russian candies, and you can actually go here and you can buy the candies that she's advertising, which is kind of crazy because, for example, I haven't made even like a $1 from YouTube at the moment. And she already uses my face. They already use my face to make a profit.
The disturbing part is there is nothing she can do about it because these entities technically own the rights to her likeness. How? When you log on to social media and accept the user agreements without reading them carefully, you might end up giving away your face and voice for free to be used by others to make money. I know you love these AI apps, but you may want to start checking their terms and conditions before you upload your images there. But what do you guys think of this situation? Should there be stricter regulations on how AI-generated content can be used, especially when it involves someone's likeness? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
I'm gonna say something. ¿Está bien? Holy shit. ¿Está bien? What the
man ventured into a graveyard, and while walking through, he came across a figure a few meters away. It looked like a dark silhouette crouched on the ground in front of a wall. At first, he thought it was a person and called out to it, but then something unexpected happened. As soon as he yelled, the figure stood up and began to glide upwards along the wall. It wasn't just any wall either, it was part of a tomb. Now, people are speculating about what this entity could be. Some believe it might be a demon or some supernatural being. What do you guys think? If it's truly a supernatural being, what do you think it was doing there?
I'm gonna see something. ¿Está bien? Holy sh**. ¿Está bien? What the
A man and his group of friends decided to explore an abandoned facility. As they made their way through the empty place, the man behind the camera ventured up a staircase. Arriving at a series of rooms that were locked. These rooms had metal fencing doors, allowing him to see inside. Curious, he began to look around. While inspecting one particular dark room, something spooked him so much that he quickly ran back down the stairs. It wasn't until reviewing the footage that he realized what had freaked him out. There, in the room, was a dark figure lurking. It had this ominous feel to it, but that's all he knew about it. He uploaded the clip seeking answers, but the community can't seem to come to an agreement. Responses range from it being a shadow creature to the whole thing being a hoax. You've seen the clip, so what do you think that we're dealing with here? I came across this hearing test and thought I'd share it with you all. Apparently, younger people can hear higher frequencies better than older people. As we're always out there in search of the strange and mysterious, it's crucial we can hear the cryptids and paranormal entities when they come lurking. The test is simple. It involves playing a sound at increasing frequencies. As the frequency rises, it becomes more difficult for older people to hear the sound. This is due to our ability to hear high frequencies diminishing with age, a condition known as presbycusis. So let's put this to the test. Watch the video and listen to the tones. Share it in the comments at which age or frequency you stopped hearing the sound. It's fascinating to observe how our hearing changes over time and varies from person to person. Remember, there is no right or wrong answers, and everyone's hearing ability is unique. America has been at the center of many conspiracy theories, and even President Joe Biden has not escaped their reach. While some of these theories seem outlandish, others have, on occasion, turned out to be true. Take a look at this footage.
All of the tax breaks, essentially all the tax breaks.
That's moving naturally.
All of the benefits flowing to the top.
In the video, you can see President Biden talking in an interview. Now, there have been numerous discussions about the president being a robot, but this time, someone pointed out something else. Look closely at his neck. The skin color of his head and his neck are two different shades. His head looks like the male white man we know, but his neck appears darker, like a black man's. What's going on here? The facial movements seem very real, so it can't be a robot. However, some people believe this is someone wearing a real-life mask of the president. Is it possible that we're looking at a high-quality mask, or is it some sort of makeup error? Well, there's a third option. The clip is fake, but still, share your thoughts.
Including going back to the Great Depression.
Okay.
Ever.
Samantha is going to try for her first time to actually knock me out using just the sound and the energy projection.
Recently, I came across this bizarre video featuring this man demonstrating what he calls a touchless knockout. As strange as it sounds, the idea is exactly as the name suggests, knocking someone out without physically touching them. In the video, the man demonstrates this technique with a woman. He stands in front of her, and after some movements of her hands, she appears to project an invisible force toward him, causing him to fall dramatically to the ground. Afterwards, with the assistance of another person, they lift him into a sitting position, and she smacks the side of his neck to wake him up. This form of martial arts is controversial. Many skeptics have dismissed it as fake or performance, while others firmly believe it to be real, rooted in the manipulation of chi energy. What are your thoughts?
You should be able to see that the pupils are actually dilated as a result of the initial push, the energy push. And that's a demonstration of a touchless knockout.
But we've been hearing loud booms, like explosions, specifically at night, over the past 2 months. And it's so loud and so strong that it shakes the windows in the houses and shakes the house a little bit. And it happens 3 to 4 times a week.
If you're wondering who this person is, don't, because I will be giving you the information in a bit. He's a man who started making clips about mysterious booms he'd been hearing around eastern Idaho. He didn't know what these booms were or why they were there, but when he started hearing them, he started digging deep for info on them and realized it was a phenomenon that happened more often than we thought. He also discovered that individuals who tried to talk about it or raise awareness were suddenly silenced or died mysteriously. He released a string of clips explaining and sharing his findings. In one of the clips, he mentions that a law enforcement friend was sent to him to tell him to stop talking about it. He then adds that if he stops making videos, we should know why he stopped. It looked like he would be defiant against whatever authorities were pulling the strings until his most recent clip came up. In the clip, we see him looking roughed up and a little scared and unsettled. He then says to ignore everything he said and that some scientists educated him and made him realize that the booms were nothing special. While this should have ended it all, everyone who saw it realized that there was something off about it, and he looked scared. They started to feel the government had gotten to him and threatened him, or something. Personally, I think that's what happened. Either that, or he was faking it all. But then again, I could be wrong. What do you guys think?
Now, the reason these booms seem like they're happening more frequently is because of social media, exaggerating the natural phenomenon. Another reason people actually hear more today than they did before is because society as a whole has become much quieter. 30 years ago, there were no sound restrictions on airplanes or cars, so we're hearing better today, thanks to the government.
A man left town to spend some time alone in his cabin in a secluded area in the woods. However, he had to immediately cut his alone time short because one morning he was woken up by these eerie sounds. Listen.
What is that?
It was a loud sound that sounded quite strange and indescribable. It had this howl and sort of a grouch and screech to it. The man didn't wait any more time and left there as fast as he could. When he posted the footage, people had a lot to say about it. Some said it was a skinwalker, others said it was a dragon, and some said it was a Bigfoot. However, skeptics thought differently. One said it could be a moose, while another said that it sounded like something being played from a speaker. What do you think it is?
What in the heck?
Apart from the hidden information on aliens, there are a lot of things that we are still not being informed about. Take a look at this footage that a woman shared.
This is the reason why the police pulled this over. Oh my gosh, what is that?
She was driving down a road in Nevada when the police pulled her over to make way for a wide load. What drove by was astonishing. A huge truck carrying a large mysterious object on its trailer. The object looked like a giant bottle, but what could it be? Nevada is home to several research facilities and test ranges, and it's also close to multiple military bases, including the infamous Area 51. This means the mysterious object could be anything. It could be a secret weapon, an experimental aircraft, a missile, or even part of a space mission project. Who knows? Aaron believes it's part of an alien ship or something connected to secretive government projects involving extraterrestrial technology. If you have any idea about what it could be, share them with us in the comments below. Before the next clip, though, I'd show you this comment from the original post. It had us laughing uncontrollably. Good one, sir.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
Let's take a look at this robot experiment that was done in China. A smaller robot named Eerie was made and sent among other robots in the facility. Eerie's job was to go and persuade the other robots to follow it home. The interaction is fascinating. Eerie asked the robots if they would go home with it. Some of the robots say they didn't have a home, and others said they didn't go off work. Eerie then told them to follow it to its home, and by the end of their little conversation, about 12 robots decided to follow Eerie. The crazy part is that the robots didn't even have a home, but somehow within this small interaction, they managed to create an idea of one. It's really interesting to watch, but now think about it. What happens when much more advanced robots are created? What if one day they decide Earth is their home and claim it for themselves? Then what?
It's a plane. It's a plane with the lights.
No, it's not.
No, it ain't.
No, it's not.
Plane.
Oh,
There's
no clouds. Shh. Quiet.
That's a UFO,
Look at it
dude.
on the camera. It's like a dome.
That's a UFO.
What? Quiet.
What the? Like literally,
Look
dude,
at that
that's
thing.
weird in the sky right there.
This next footage comes from a group of friends who went on a fishing trip in Arizona. After setting up camp beneath the starry night sky, they noticed something unusual above them. The video shows two glowing lights in the sky. One remains static, unmoving, while the other slowly ascends upwards. The men believe the stationary light is the moon, given its round shape and lack of movement. But the second light is the real mystery. Watch closely as it gradually rises higher and higher, becoming smaller and dimmer until it finally disappears entirely. Could this be a UFO returning to space?
Looking at the lights going off in two sides,
Oh, look, it's moving. Look at the lights are moving around it. What the?
Yeah. It's hovering.
Oh my God. Oh my god, I see that. Look, it's going up. It's taking off. No way. What the
It just went out to space.
Starting today's episode, I've got a clip Bigfoot enthusiasts will love. During a video project, a man deployed his drone to capture aerial footage above a dense forest area. As the drone hovered and scanned the landscape, it captured something rather unexpected and unusual, a massive ape-like creature. Looking at the clip, however, we know this can't just be any ape. I mean, look at its gait. It casually takes long strides with its massive arms swinging back and forth as it moves gracefully through the trees. This can't be any ape. In fact, many who saw it believed it had to be a Bigfoot. The creature seemed completely unaware of the drone filming it from above. If you were to ask me, the footage looks incredibly genuine. It has this authentic feel to it, unlike some of the staged videos we've seen in the past. Julius & Co., which is basically Julius and all who think like him, think this isn't genuine. Some stated it could be a gorilla, but Julius didn't think so. In fact, he states that there are no apes in the region where this was recorded. His hypothesis? It has to be a man in an ape suit or something along those lines. Aaron disagrees, and I'm tempted to go along with him on this one, but what do you guys also think? People have unique ways of honoring their loved ones who have passed, but what I'm about to show you might just be the most unsettling tribute yet. This man from Florida, who was a musician, decided to build a guitar using the skeletal remains of his uncle. According to him, this was his way of honoring his uncle, who introduced him to heavy metal music. He shared his creation online, and views were divided. Some thought it was fascinating, while others thought it was eerie. There were even some who thought it was outright disrespectful, but then again, people in their culture vary. How would you have interpreted this? If you were his uncle, would you have been happy with this?
Oh.
Oh, what? Oh, bro.
That's
wow.
Tell me you don't find this fascinating. First, we're introduced to a nice scenery, and then a man throws a rock in the water, and the ripples look absolutely gorgeous on the stone wall. As gorgeous as they look, though, tell me I'm not the only one that sees that it looks eerily like a portal. I mean, what if this is a way to open a portal to another realm and this man just cracked it? Aaron and I discussed the possibility and were intrigued by it until Julius walked in and gave us the coldest look. What do you guys think, though? Are we onto something, or should we go see a shrink?
oh.
Oh, what? Oh, bro.
That's
wow.
A woman was home alone one night when something unsettling happened, prompting her to grab her phone and start recording. A dog stood at the doorway, growling softly but steadily, its gaze fixed on something out in the hallway. The dog didn't go out, instead remaining rooted to the spot, its eyes focused on the unseen presence. Occasionally it would glance back at the woman as if to warn her, letting out a low guttural growl. The woman did not dare move to check what might be lurking out there out of fear. Animals are known to have heightened senses and are often believed to detect things beyond human perception. Was the dog sensing an intruder, or could it have been something more otherworldly? In a nature documentary called The Great North, some viewers noticed something peculiar during one of the episodes. The footage shows a herd of caribou running from a grassy area into a water body. But that's not where the mystery lies. In the background, further on the land, a dark figure can be seen moving on two legs. When the footage was zoomed in, the creature appeared to be carrying a smaller figure on its back. Some who closely examined the footage believed it could be a mother Bigfoot carrying her baby, possibly out hunting for food. Take a closer look. What do you think? Could this be another rare sighting of the elusive Bigfoot? What do we have here? A flat, circular, flame-like cloud partially hidden behind a large, dark cloud. It almost looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? The shape and fiery glow make it appear almost otherworldly, like some kind of celestial event or an unidentified aerial phenomenon. So, what could this be? One possibility is that it's a rare type of lenticular cloud, which can form in smooth, lens-like shapes near mountains or in certain weather conditions. These clouds sometimes reflect sunlight in ways that make them glow or appear otherworldly, or it could be a form of weather anomaly such as clouds-to-cloud lightning or a particularly striking atmospheric effect. Hold on, well, what if it's no cloud at all? Speaking of haunting spirits, take a look at this clip. In the clip, we are introduced to what looks like a bathroom. A few seconds in, we see the door shaking vigorously. The one who uploaded the clip states that this happened multiple times in the night and it freaked him out. It turns out there's one at the other side of the door. This led to his conclusion that the place was haunted and he left. Do you think there would have been a more logical explanation, or do you agree with him and would have left too? Let's hear your thoughts on this one. Driving late at night on the highway can be an exhilarating experience. The roads are mostly empty, free of traffic and people, which makes it easy to speed along. But no matter how empty it seems, you still need to be cautious. One woman learned this the hard way. She was driving down the highway in the middle of the night with her dash cam recording everything. Cruising at high speed, something shocking happened. A person suddenly appeared right in front of her vehicle out of nowhere. Take a closer look at the footage. There's no one on the road one moment, and then the figure just materializes. The woman, thinking fast, swerved to avoid the person. Thankfully, there was no other cars around, and she managed to escape the encounter unscathed. But here's the thing. How could someone just appear like that in the middle of the road? It doesn't seem possible for it to be an actual person. Many drivers have reported similar incidents, claiming to see mysterious figures on highways late at night. Some believe these are ghosts or spirits, and it's said that their sudden appearances sometimes lead to accidents. What do you think? Could this really be a spirit haunting the road? In India, there's an intriguing ancient method used to find underground water. Here's how it works. First, they peel a coconut, place it sideways on their palm. Then they walk around holding it gently. Watch this. When they reach a spot with water beneath the ground, the coconut mysteriously stands upright in their palm. It's fascinating to see this in action. Known as dowsing, this method has been passed down through generations and is said to be quite efficient. Am I the only one who thinks it's incredible how ancient traditions still hold relevance today? Oh, wait, I forgot to ask. Julius, how legit this is, but, well, no one lies on the internet, right? Right. Our next destination is space. This intriguing footage, allegedly captured by the International Space Station, or ISS for short, shows a V-shaped craft flying across the sky. The sighting has generated significant buzz, with many believing this has to be proof of extraterrestrial activity. Skeptics, on the other hand, are quick to dismiss the footage, suggesting that it could be a hoax or misinterpreted natural phenomena like space debris, reflections, or even camera artifacts. There are some who also argue that the shape and movement appear too deliberate to be easily explained. In other words, they think it's fake. While 10 years ago we would have been laughing at this clip, given the rise in fake UFO footage and the confessions from top officials in the USA, it's difficult to simply dismiss this clip as being fake. Either way, you've seen it, so what do you think is going on here?
Rh-negative children, babies, adults, have a significantly higher copper content. Copper conducts energy much faster than iron does. That would give explosive power, very, very, very fast and intense, but then worn out.
So in this clip, we got a man talking about individuals with Rh-negative blood. The last time I heard about this, it had to do with the dangers of pregnancy. This man, however, has a different take. According to him, people with Rh-negative blood possess unique traits, including heightened intuition, intelligence, or even explosive power. Scientifically, Rh-negative blood simply lacks the Rh factor, a protein found in red blood cells and accounts for about 15% of the population. I asked Julius about it, and he stated that the idea of explosive power may stem from pseudoscience or speculative claims linking Rh-negative individuals to extraordinary physical or mental abilities. However, no scientific evidence supports such claims. Rh-negative blood does have medical significance, particularly in pregnancy, where Rh incompatibility between mother and baby can lead to complications if not managed with treatment. Beyond that, any connection to explosive traits remains in the realm of folklore and speculation. At least that's what Julius says, but do you think he and all the scientists are wrong? Could Rh-negative individuals be the key to unlocking superpowers? Let's hear your thoughts on this one.
Rh-negative children, babies, adults, have a significantly higher copper content. Copper conducts energy much faster than iron does. That would give explosive power, very, very, very fast and intense, but then worn out.
In Japanese culture, there's an urban legend about the slit-mouthed woman, Kuchisaki Onna. These women are said to roam the streets wearing masks to hide the grotesque slit mouths they have underneath. In this particular video, a man and a woman are behind the camera hiding behind a car. They're filming this strange woman wearing a mask and standing in front of a house. She's looking down at the ground and appears to be talking to herself. There's something off about her, but the moment gets even creepier when she notices them. Without warning, the woman charges at them aggressively, her movements fast and unnatural. They panicked and immediately ran to get away from her, with the camera shaking as they fled the scene. What do you make of this? Could it be a prank, or is this an actual encounter with the infamous slit-mouthed woman? This particular clip has been making the rounds online, leaving many people shocked and intrigued. Some deep-sea researchers were allegedly conducting an expedition in the Gulf of Mexico when they stumbled upon something extraordinary. As you can see, it was an enormous sea creature swimming gracefully through the waters. According to the team, after studying the footage and comparing it with known marine life, they believe this could be a juvenile mosasaurus. If you're unfamiliar with the name, it's because the mosasaurus is a prehistoric marine reptile thought to have gone extinct millions of years ago. If this discovery holds any truth, it will be one of the most astonishing finds in modern history. But what do you think? Could this truly be a living fossil or edited footage? Here we have another curious image captured on a trail camera, showing an ape-like creature sitting in the shade of the trees. The owner of the image sets up the camera in hopes of capturing footage of Bigfoot, as there have been several reports of sightings in the area, and he was not disappointed. Now, some are claiming that this creature could just be a monkey or a very large primate. However, Bigfoot enthusiasts are convinced that this is the real deal. But what do you think? Recently, a massive fire broke out in the Los Angeles hills, drawing emergency responders to the scene. After the fire was extinguished, firefighters discovered a body on the property. Neighbors in the area have claimed that the property belonged to none other than William Rothschild, a member of one of the wealthiest families in the world. The revelation has sparked widespread speculation and concern, especially given the family's prominence and the unusual circumstances surrounding the fire. Could this be a tragic accident, or is there more to the story? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Speaking of UFOs, here is a fascinating clip recorded in Dubai back in 2021. It was nighttime, lightning flickered across the sky, briefly illuminating the surroundings, and that's when this appeared. The footage shows a strange object in the sky. It looks like an upside-down pyramid with its tip broken off and floating upward. With each flicker of lightning, the object inches closer to the missing piece until it reconnects, completing the shape of a perfectly inverted pyramid. What could this be? A cleverly disguised man-made structure? A strange atmospheric phenomenon? Or is this something more extraordinary, perhaps an alien craft? Next up, we've got a clip from a hunter who was out in the woods on a bright afternoon, tracking what he believed to be signs of a Bigfoot. After spotting some large footprints in the mud, his curiosity was piqued, but it wasn't long before something else caught his attention. Moving behind the bushes ahead of him stirred his instincts. Peeking out from the thick brush was a dark-furred bipedal creature. Its large muscular frame moved with an eerie silence as it tried to remain hidden, but its piercing eyes and face were unmistakable. Just look at that face. It had a human-like structure, but the features were distinctly animalistic. So what do you think? Genuine or not genuine? Let us know in the comments. This video really gives off a trippy vibe, especially with how the cat's unique coloring stands out. Its body seems divided into two distinct sections. From the stomach to the hind legs, it's a rich dark brown, while the front legs to the head are black with a striking white pattern that runs from between the eyes down to the mouth and neck. The black and white combo looks pretty standard for a cat, but the way that deep brown color appears in the back half of its body makes it look unusual. The way the black and brown meet creates this almost perfect dividing line along the back, which just adds to the oddness. It's as if someone stitched two different cats together, front and back halves not quite matching. This kind of rare fur pattern must catch a lot of eyes. It's amazing how nature can create these unexpected combinations, almost like a work of abstract art. Have you ever seen a cat with such striking color contrasts before? Do you think it's even real? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section.
Oh, how cool. What? I mean, oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome.
I can't believe that's a living thing.
Of the body looks different from the ladder.
So this is one of the weirdest and strangest things we're gonna see today, and you should be glad. I must say that the first time I saw it, it made my skin crawl, but after getting through those first few minutes, I started to admire their beauty. This might be a siphonophore, and those who are unfamiliar with the term, it refers to a fascinating colonial marine organism belonging to the phylum Cnidaria, which also includes jellyfish and coral. Despite looking like a single creature, a siphonophore is actually a collection of specialized interconnected zooids that function together as one entity. Each zooid plays a specific role, such as feeding, reproduction, or movement, and they cannot survive independently. Found in the deep sea, these creatures are marvels of biological cooperation and adaptation. I haven't seen these types before, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Anyone with any info on this, let us know in the comments section.
Oh, how cool.
What?
I mean, oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome.
I can't believe that's a living thing.
Of the body looks different from the ladder.
actividad en madrugada y los perros ladraban intensamente, huyendo de
A man woke up in the middle of the night and gets some water when he heard the dogs in the area barking and howling incessantly. Curious and slightly alarmed, he looked out of his window to see what might be causing the commotion. That's when he noticed something unusual. There was a dark figure standing eerily still among the bushes in the middle of the neighborhood. The man, who was filming from the vantage point of a story building, had a clear view of the area and the mysterious figure. It stood motionless. What could this figure be? Was it just a trick of the light, a passerby, or perhaps something more enigmatic that stirred the dogs? Some men ventured into the San Luis Valley after hearing reports of Bigfoot sightings in the area. They were eager to investigate, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive creature. When they arrived, they didn't manage to spot Bigfoot, but what they found was just as intriguing: an enormous footprint in the ground. Look at that. The sheer size of the print is impressive, and while they didn't get a visual of the creature itself, this evidence was enough to leave them convinced that something unusual was out there. Could this footprint belong to Bigfoot? What do you think? Proof of a legendary creature, or something else entirely? This next footage, taken at an undisclosed location, shows something truly strange in the sky, a bright, glowing spiral. It's not the sun, as the actual sun is clearly visible right beside it, so what could this mysterious spiral be? The spiral appears to rotate slowly, emitting a dazzling light that many viewers claim looks like a portal or vortex. Its odd shape and eerie glow have left people speculating. Some think it could be a natural atmospheric phenomenon, while others believe it's something far more unusual, perhaps linked to extraterrestrial activity or secret technology. But what do you think? Speaking of ghosts, here's a chilling piece of hospital footage that has everyone talking. A nurse was tending to a young boy who had just come out of surgery. While she wasn't physically in the room, she was monitoring him closely on a screen to ensure his recovery was going smoothly. That's when she noticed something strange. On the monitor, a shadowy figure of a little boy appeared, standing silently at the foot of the patient's bed. Thinking the boy had woken up and somehow gotten out of bed, the nurse immediately rushed to the ward to check. But when she arrived, the boy was still sound asleep, tucked securely in his bed. Alarmed, she returned to the monitoring station, and the shadowy figure was still there, standing in the same spot, unmoving. Hospitals are often said to have these ghostly encounters because of the death rate there. So, is this a ghostly visitor, perhaps connected to the young boy in some way? The Grand Canyon is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, attracting millions of visitors every year. However, not all areas of the canyon are open to the public. In fact, there are restricted zones where tourists are not allowed to enter, and this has led to a lot of speculation. In some of these off-limit areas, explorers and researchers have reportedly found caves and doorways leading into the rock formations. But where do these mysterious passageways lead? Many believe that the government or other agencies may be hiding something in these restricted parts of the canyon. Could they be secret underground facilities, lost civilizations, or hidden archaeological sites that they don't want the public to know about? There have been old reports of strange artifacts being discovered in the Grand Canyon, and some even claim Egyptian relics and ancient tunnels exist beneath its surface. Of course, skeptics dismiss these claims, saying these areas are simply closed off for safety reasons or for environmental protection. But with so many questions left unanswered, you have to wonder, what are they really hiding in the Grand Canyon? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Send this to someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.